Guys, so before you continue watching this episode, I would like to inform you that this is a chaotic video. Unlike my first episode, this is pretty chaotic. So I hope that's enough disclaimer. Go watch it. Watch at your own risk. Hi, hello, welcome to What Ink Cannot Write. I am Set and I am the host for this podcast. So, this is the second episode of this podcast series. And in the first episode, we discussed the figure of speech, jack of all trades, and how I associate myself with that phrase. And today, we are gonna jump to a different topic. And this topic is highly inspired by from another preposition crisis from the entries that I have here in my Google Forms. So before I proceed, I will just let you know if this is your first time listening or watching this podcast. I have a Google form available and you can send your stories, your questions, your thoughts about anything that you might want me to discuss in future podcast episodes. That is all. I will continue. I will proceed now, okay? Just drop your thoughts there and I would love to read them and share them with the people who are listening to this podcast. Okay, let's go. So I will read two entries. One is a story and one is a question, I guess. And let's read first the story. I am an NBSB, as in no boyfriend since birth. But I fell four times with four guys. I didn't fall. I didn't fall for them at the same time, one at a time only. The first guy, it was my childhood friend. If he was a song, I consider him as Love Story by Taylor Swift. We were like Romeo and Rosalind. Yes, I'm Rosalind because after a year he had his Juliet. I'm not that hurt because it was a puppy love. The second guy was my best friend. Yes, the typical story of falling in love with your best friend. I thought the feelings were mutual, but little did I know. I'm the only one who has feelings for him, not the other way around. The third guy, he was my MU. I was so young back then, but in my mind, I was not a teenager anymore. He was 19 that time, and I was 16. Sounds not nice, right? He gave me a star, a keychain. Then after that, he said that he is not ready for a relationship. He still doesn't. He still needs to find himself. That time, I realized that he's not the one for me. The fourth guy, we don't have the same faith. So technically we cannot be. He was the one that I really liked the most. He understands me all the time. He was with me when I was in my darkest times, but the time when I needed him because I was so sick, he didn't come. Sad face. With that experiences, I realized that God is still preparing me to meet my the one. Because I was young that time and I'm not matured enough to handle relationships. Now I'm enjoying my singleness to the fullest. When the time is right, I know God will give away for us. Whoa, I mean, I guess that's a lot. Four guys, four heartbreaks. So let me just say that every time she gets a guy, there are always hindrances. I mean, they may be together for like a short period of time, but they won't end up together. They won't really last long. That's what I noticed in this story. And it's like she's not always the one for that guy, or that guy is not always the one for her. You know what I'm saying? But she realized at the end that the reason why those all of those happened is because God is still preparing her. That's true. You haven't met your the one yet. Don't rush. I mean, life is short and it will come to you when you're ready, I guess. I mean, who knows when? I did not prepare any Bible verses or whatever related, but we should trust God. When what am I saying? We should trust God in everything. Actually, not just in terms of relationships. We should trust Him in everything, including relationships like this. So for now, until you haven't met you're the one, just continue, I guess, praying if you do pray. Continue praying and work on yourself because that's the only thing you should be doing. You should also prepare yourself for what chaos that that person might bring. Well, for me, relationships are chaotic. Not that I had any relationships. It's just what I see. Judger ka, girl. So let me tell you mine in relation to this. No, the sender has no boyfriend since birth. Same, but it's not something I'm ashamed of, and it's not something I am rushing to erase. What am I saying? It's just I am not rushing to meet someone because there's more to life than relationships. Wow. And okay, so the sender fell for four guys, so four heartaches. Let me just recall if I had any heartaches. Of course I did, but those were from people who didn't deserve it. So let's just forget what I said. Those people don't deserve that. Didn't deserve my time. I'm really sorry for me for for pouring my time. I value my time so much. So whenever I recall things that make me realize that I did waste my time on that people. I'm so sorry, self. I'm so sorry for not thinking. I'm so sorry. This is about love, so I'm a little not sure. What am I saying? Let's just continue reading. So she also fell in love with her best friend. I didn't have a guy best friend, and so I wouldn't fall for that. I don't have a trope like that. So if I was in an alternate universe, I was the main character, probably the love interest wouldn't be my best friend because I don't have a guy best friend. So that's that. How old was she when she considered her? I mean, how old? Hi, sender, if you are listening to this, how old were you when you met your puppy love? Because love is a strong word. Well, for me, I really don't. I don't want to give a label called love to the people that I had interest in with in another preposition crisis. It's because there are so many things that define love, I guess. And I think they didn't meet the standards for my definition of love. So maybe I was just infatuated with those people and basically I wasted my time with them. Let's not let's not recall the people that I had interest in. The third guy, MU 16, and the guy was 19. Here, she told here in her entry, he gave me a star, a keychain. Well, it was different in my story. I had an experience like that, but my experience is I was the one who gave a necklace. I think it was a necklace because we had, ew. Let me just, this is a disclaimer. I am disgusted. Okay, I don't want to recall this, but for the sake of this podcast, I will. So I had this crush in around like grade 6, and we had a field trip. Field trip. And you know those people who jump on the bus, hop on the bus and sell you some things like necklaces, bracelets, and all those stuff. It was cheap. It was 20 pesos, I guess, but by that time, 20 pesos is a lot. Yeah, I bought one for that guy who I had interest in. And since I was so shy to give it myself, I asked a friend, a classmate, to give that necklace to my crush. And then this is what she said, because we had a field trip that time in Manila Ocean Park. So basically there's ocean around us. There was a body of water around us. And then it was, I guess, lunchtime. I was just waiting for her to come back because she gave the necklace. And she did return without the necklace. So I thought that my crush accepted it. And this was the story. This was the story she gave me. Okay. So my classmate said when I am so disgusted. I'm so sorry. When she gave my crush the necklace, my crush accepted it. I don't know if this is real. I'm sure it isn't. My crush said, "Oh, so kinuha niya." And then he threw it off the whatever platform, and below was the ocean. He literally threw my gift. Right, disgusting. But there's a plot twist to the story. Even though he did throw that off the platform or whatever, he said, "Ah, I love you." Like he threw it and said, "I love you." Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, if you're gonna lie to me, can you just make a believable story? It's so disgusting. How can someone who loves you throw away a gift? Last ba sa love language mo ang words of affirmation? Ay, words of affirmation? Gifts? Like, words of affirmation, where did that come from? I mean, gifts? That was so disgusting to recall. I'm so sorry if you're disgusted, if you're cringing right now, but that was what happened. He threw that off and then said, "I love you." Like, if you love me, then you should, you oh my gosh. I'm not gonna elaborate my thoughts on this anymore. I am literally so disgusted. Whew. In my next podcast, I am sure that I will not talk about love anymore because this thing disgusts me. Lastly, the four. Okay, let's go back to the story. Lastly, the fourth guy she fell in love with, they didn't have the same faith. Well, okay. I mean, I'm not gonna talk about this in this channel, in this podcast. Let's not talk about faith. Okay? So I feel so exhausted just talking about the previous people that I liked. Ew. Ew. So Sorry. I'm so sorry for this. Eesh. Ew. Let's just move on to the second entry. So the second entry is actually a question. So the question is, it's not really a question, but it requires an answer. So what is that? So the question is, I'd love to know your process of self-love. Okay, I'm gonna close my laptop. Let's go. So last year 2020. Yeah. I guess it was New Year. It was a 1 year. I mean, I left another. Hi, can we not talk about love? But how can we not talk about love if we're talking about self love? Okay, okay. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for making this confusing. Okay, a little backstory. Okay, in 2019, I had a crush for this someone. Yeah, I liked him for several months, I guess, and I didn't confess, and I'm glad I didn't, because if I did, I would just carry some cringy moments. So, so I liked him for several months, and then I don't want to elaborate because the people who know me might discover who this person is. Only one person. No, let's not talk. Okay, let's not go into the details. But before New Year, I had a realization, and he was treating me differently that time. Like, he was treating me differently in a negative way. So I realized that time that I should just stop. What the hell are you? No, I'm so sorry for that TikTok reference. Okay. So I thought to myself that I will not continue liking this person because it was messing with my peace of mind. And yeah, New Year, I said this, I will leave you in 2019, and in 2020, you don't exist in my life anymore. I forced myself to not like this person because it was getting unhealthy for me. How is So if you might ask me, how was it unhealthy for you? I felt really insecure. I don't know if this is really a part of when you're falling in love, you will get insecure, but I guess that's that's not a thing you should feel if you're in love, right? Oh my gosh, did I say that I was in love? No, I wasn't in love. I just liked this person. As I've said before, love is a big word. Let's not label him like that, okay? So, I decided to not like him. I forced myself to not like him. I avoided looking at him. And that apparently helped me move on. And in that period, when I was moving on, I was talking to myself like, sister, don't mess yourself just because a guy didn't like you back. Or just, and I mean, don't mess with yourself if a guy treats you indifferently. And that was what forced me. Yeah, that's the term, forced. And that was the force that drove me to love myself more, because I noticed that I was wrecking myself, that I was ultimately so insecure about myself. I was blaming myself for the things that I have no control over. Do you get what I'm saying? It's because when I thought like this, huh? When a person doesn't like me back, it means, for me dati, ha, it means I'm ugly, it means I'm not good enough, and that's self-sabotage. And I don't want to do that with myself anymore, because I value myself now. And in that period, the progress went from avoiding and then forcing myself to change my mindset. And then it went from forcing to scrolling every day on Pinterest, some self love quotes. Yeah, I discovered a lot of self love quotes in on Pinterest, and and I might link it because it's really helpful because first it empowers you. Second, yeah, it empowers you. That's all. I mean, that's enough, right? And that's enough. Yun lang. What am I saying? I'm so sorry. This podcast is so confusing. Because I don't want to go into detail on how. Okay, let's continue with the self love process. So I was scrolling on Pinterest, and I was spinning, and I made a board named self love. And the favorite quote phrase that I saved from Pinterest is visualize your highest self, then show up as her. I realized that it wasn't my time yet to fall in love. You. I mean, yeah, it wasn't my time yet to have interest in another person because I myself is a mess. I mean, my mind is. Like I wasn't stable enough because I depended my self-worth on another person, and that's not really the right thing to do. You should depend your self-worth on you and you alone. Don't depend it on other people. So now I moved on, and I am now disgusted with that story. I mean, with the in the part that I liked him, that is the thing that disgusts me. But now I am happy that I did because I learned to love myself. And you know, when you love yourself, it reflects, it shows, it yeah, the glow shows on your face. Do you know that feeling when people compliment you for glowing? I mean, your face is glowing. And I received a lot of comments like that, and people thought I had a boyfriend or a love interest. I didn't make a girl. I mean, they thought like I had someone, I was dating someone, but no, nah, I just really love myself. That's the reason why I look like this. Although I am not claiming that this is the best version of myself, but I am working on myself. And this is not what I looked like before. So it was a chaotic process because I came from avoiding to forcing myself to love myself. And but if that's the way for you to start, then go do it. But if you can do it in other ways and not by forcing yourself, then just do that. It's my way. That's what helped me, forcing myself. But I'm happy I did because I have a different mindset now. I am not saying that I am ready because who knows when you're ready. Basta as long as wala pa, until the right time, I will no, kahit dumating ang right time, I will still work on myself. Because that's what you should be doing. Mm-mm. Work on yourself. Let's okay. I will end this episode now. I don't like this. No, I really don't. No. I just hate the fact that I talked about guys. Let's talk about self-love in another episode, and I will not include guys there so that I won't feel disgusted and that I won't look like I am really disgusted. So before I end this podcast, I will leave you with a life lesson because I told myself that I will share 21 life lessons, so this is the second one. So, in relation to the stories that I shared with you, this is the life lesson. No one is ever going to make you happy if you cannot be happy by yourself. Boom. I mean, that's pretty self explanatory. Because how can I depend? How dare me? How dare me depend my happiness and my self worth on another person? You should not trust any person with your life like that. Just trust yourself. Work on yourself because you have control. Unlike when you depend on other people, they might leave you hanging, or they might change their mind, or they might not like you back. They might not give you the things that you expect to receive from them. So the happiness and self-worth must first come from you, from yourself. Wow, I sound like wow. I mean, I am really a self-love advocate, I guess, because it's been a year, and I inspired, I guess. I inspired a lot of people in loving themselves because I was too influential. I wasn't influential. I was too loud in my self-love journey, and I guess that triggered curiosity to other people and decided to, why not try it? Why not try self-love? Why are we trying to fall in love with other people, and but we're afraid to focus on ourselves first? Why does other people come first before us? Why am I mad? I'm not mad. So that is the life lesson. Please, please, guys, love yourselves. Love yourselves first, so that you won't depend any of your happiness to other people, because you alone can give yourself happiness. And don't let other people define your self-worth, because that's wrong. That will mentally, emotionally, physically mess with you. Yeah, you will not glow. If you want to have a glow up, love yourself. That's the ultimate skincare. Yeah, loving yourself. Yeah. Wow, I'm suddenly a skincare dermatology expert char. Basta, love yourself, guys. Okay na, last na to. Love yourself. Go. So, before I end this podcast, I would just like to remind that I have a Google form I have a Google form provided where you can drop your thoughts, your stories, your questions that you might want me to discuss in future podcasts. I hope you avoid talking about love, because I'm not really that kind of person. I'm not. Maybe there are moments that I am okay to talk with about love, but not right now. I'm so disgusted with my stories. I'm so sorry. So that is all. I hope you do participate. Is that how you pronounce that? Basta. I hope you guys participate. Now it's wrong. I hope you guys I hope you guys participate in that form, so that we can talk about some stuff, so that we can have a topic aside from me in this podcast. Because sometimes, although this is my podcast, but I don't want y'all to feel umay to my stories. So involve yourselves, and I will read them for you. So that is all for episode 2. I will see you in the next episode. Bye.